So I'm just walking around for a little bit of a walk. I don't always like to stay indoors. In fact, I was encouraged off my computer, and then I'm like, oh, what am I supposed to be doing now? I do have stuff I can do. I've got work to do. Should take 15 minutes, half an hour. Not very much work. And I've got, what else do I have to do? All I really have to do is apply for more jobs, and I got notification today that I had a submission that I submitted a couple of months ago, and got notification that I'm going to be credited. So that means it makes it into the footage, or the video clip or film or whatever it is. And I was like, yay! So it was pretty exciting that I had this nice kind of face. I mean, it was a little bit of a droopy faced capture, but I managed to get that submitted, and that was made it to whatever they're doing with it, whatever project they're doing, and I'm like, yay! So that's sort of gotten me all excited again about what I'm doing. And I did notice online there's this thing for SeaWorld this month sometime, and if I applied for it, I could virtually get credited some cash. But I don't know whether it'll be evil or sane, but with SeaWorld you never know. But I have a feeling I've been there before, and most business people kind of are a little bit sucky. Will probably be lowly received, but whatever. I mean, if I felt like it, I could show up and get a few $100 from it to go with my savings, or I could just stay at home and do nothing. So, I don't. Anyway. And I was like watching this movie a couple of days ago, and I was like, I feel like I'm almost like affiliated with it in some loose way, and then it's like, I started having all these weird ass memories of things that I'd forgotten. This big ordeal at some restaurant in the US, and this and that, and I was like having these memories after watching this movie. I think it's like called The Hunger Games or whatever. I had like this memory of this restaurant thing and being conned to be quite malicious to someone who was celebrating like their wins and stuff, or birthday or something, and I was like, I'm led to this big old deal, and then I realized, and it's a really negative thing, and I was like, oh, I wonder if that's actually a memory, or whether it's just like a fabrication, but it sort of feels like a memory, and I can almost see it, and I'm like, okay, so it's probably something that I shouldn't remember, but, it's sort of like, sort of felt like in relation to the movie, I was sort of like thinking, that feels kind of close to me, but then of course it's not, so it makes me reflect that I should keep an active diary of things that I do. So I revamped my modeling resume in trying to keep records and things of all these little gigs that I actually do, because otherwise I forget things, and then it's like it doesn't matter, and then tomorrow I apply for jobs and I'm like still an unknown amateur, so but I haven't been credited for many things. That's the only thing, and the things that I have been credited for, I can't find them online or anything, so like I did this shampoo ad, but the ad was recalled after I'd made it, and this is like, I don't know, 2000 something, 2007 or something. So I think it wasn't Pantene, it was like Sunsilk or something. And they had this recalled ad, it was shown on TV for like a week before the ad was recalled. And it's like, and then I also did, some music clips, and I have no idea if the clips don't actually show, a cast thing, but generally, if asked, oh, was this chick in this clip, the guy will say, yeah, she was, So it's like my more solid association. And so I'm like, okay, so I did the music clip, and the clips can still be seen online, and blah 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 and all this, and so that's two things that I've done that I can sort of relate to, and I got paid for a couple of them. Most of them, the music ones, I didn't get paid anything, but one I did, and I was like, oh, if only I could have been paid for all of them, then I'd have a nice little good luck portfolio. But well, I don't know, like, if I've been credited for too much else, like, and then I've done all these little online clips, so I have my own profile, but I don't like to put my real life experience on the agency that I'm with, because of the fact that they attack people, it's like, or they get them to attack you or something, and you're like, oh, it's a pretty crappy agency. So I just stay amateur when I'm with this particular agency, and I don't actually sort of put forward any credible credits, because I'm like, you're better off not being credited when you're with the agency, otherwise they find a way to get to you about what you've been affiliated with, and it's not very positive, and you just feel bad for having had even suggested that you could be affiliated with anything and stuff like that. So I don't really put real credits on that particular thing, but I do sometimes keep a model resume, and and I haven't put my more serious credits on my model resume either. And I'm like, I've done all this stuff, and I haven't, like, I've done beach shoots, like I've done a couple of beach shoots, and I've been paid, but I haven't put it on any resume. And I'm like, why haven't I done that? Why do I keep everything so blurry? So I'm trying to get used to putting things to pen so that say, yes, I've been doing things. Because on my photo shoot side of my resume, it's like I haven't done anything, but I know I have done a couple of shoots on the Gold Coast, and I'm like, and I did get paid for them, so that, that's additional credit. But but yeah, I don't know. I actually should put my my personal submitted thing on my resume, because then it's like you don't have your photo shoots that you did to make a composite card on there. You'll have actually, I've been printed in a magazine kind of thing. So I should put that on there, because I know I've printed a couple times this year, and I've also been printed in the past. Don't ask me when, because it's not on my resume. So I'm trying to get more into that so that I have a more accurate resume. But because I have done like heaps of stuff in modeling, but it's just so come and go. It's like, if you don't make a list of things you've done, it gets lost, and then you don't have a clue of what you've done in the future. It's like, oh yeah, I vaguely remember this, and I vaguely remember that. and sometimes I don't remember anything at all. Like when watching this movie, I was like, oh, I have a feeling, this has something to do with me. And then I'm like, oh, And then I had this weirdo whacked up memory of getting in trouble for, cutting down someone kind of famous after you were cut down in this restaurant after celebrating, the whole movie. And it's like, in retrospect, I probably shouldn't mention that because it was probably kind of forgotten, but, it was a pretty high risk sort of scene. And I'm like going, oh, shivers, how could I forget this dramatic episode? And it's like you forget things because you don't remember them if you haven't written them down, taken pictures, updated your Instagram or whatever. So, but I was thinking of applying for the SeaWorld job just to get some real life experience, but I have no idea if it's going to be like high risk or not, because most model jobs you get off the internet are like, oh, someone's horny, you're expected to, sleep with people as the end thing before you get paid or something. I'm like, so I'll just put a note, not to do anything but show up and leave nice and clean, no funny business. No sexual exploits. It's like, but I have a feeling the people they gather to attend these events growl at you and probably get knocky that you're like bottom class whatever and they don't want to see you there. But on the other side, it could be a good experience. It's something that you actually do in the flesh. And yeah, I don't know whether I'll do it or not, or whether I'll just work or whatever. But so many jobs on there, and so many other things I could do. And I want to contact a post office to see if I can get my post box transferred, because my post box is in a suburb far away, and I knew I should have dropped it and then reopened a new post box, but I didn't. So, but I'm trying to. I wish I could be totally serious with modeling, but it's like I've forgotten so many things. It's like I've a long list of associations with modeling and acting, and then it's like I haven't written anything down. I haven't kept my journals. One of my journals was stolen, but no, actually 2 of my journals were stolen. But most other days I've sort of kept journals, and I've thrown them away because I'm like, oh, I have to cart them here and there and everywhere. I'm still packing my bags and moving all the time. And so I ended up throwing a heap of journals away, and don't you know that everyone wants to know what my journals were? So in the future, you don't expect to have any association where someone will want to read your journals, but I did, and I was like, oh shoot, I threw everything but one journal away pretty much. And it's like you wish you hadn't after you did, because journals are a pretty good source of information actually. So I should keep mini journals actually, because at the moment I'm keeping a notebook sized journal, but mini journals you can collect 50 or 100 even, they fit in one little box. And so I should get mini journals and have all these notes on, because I don't write that much in journals. I used to have dream journals, but now it's like I have just appointments and phone numbers I want to keep and this and that, I just loosely jot things down. But I'm getting better and better with keeping journals, because I didn't keep a journal for a long time, and I'm wanting to have these memories, and I have no idea what I'm thinking about, because I forget things when I haven't written them down and I have nothing to relate to. I've had several trips around the world and I can't relate to them because I have no idea when they were, but it's probably on my passport record, which you don't have access to a lot of the times. The government does, but you don't. So you're going, dull. Because, you sort of want to know where you've been here and there, and then you're like, I want to see where I've been, because I didn't document things very well at all. So I'm trying to get better so that I can relate to things. Otherwise I'm just loosely, ambiguously picking memories out of my brain, and sometimes I've totally forgotten about things, even with the most important person in your world. You've forgotten about things because you haven't written anything. All my photos were taken though. I used to have my own personal photo book, but my photographs were taken because I had pictures of impressive looking people in them and people were stealing them. They stole my army medal. I think I had one because I was in the army for a couple times and I won a medal. I was like, F you. All this personal stuff were stolen from me, and I'm like, F you. And apparently you can't get medals back when they've been stolen. There's no, you can't get another one. You can't order another one. It's like, sorry, there's only one of those issued and you should have kept it safer. I'm like, I did. I kept it locked up in a cupboard. I have the key, but someone broke open the cupboard and stole all my personal stuff. Signed ball, signed autographs from singers, this and that. And even my dance program when I was a dancer. Otherwise, everyone's like, you were never a dancer. And I'm like, yeah, I was. Here's a program to prove that I was a dancer for 6 months. And I was like, even that was still, and I'm like going, oh, this is just the lowest of the low. It's terrible that it's a terrible thing to have something that you're trying to keep stolen from you. It's like, it's personal. It's more than money. It's all your life and what you want to remember and what you want to keep. Obviously, programs are pretty special to me because I know that no one will think that I've ever been a dancer because everyone's like crunching me under low opinion. And then it's like, but I was once, I was a pretty darn good dancer. No one wants to credit you for anything. It's like, you were never a good dancer. It's like, we remember you when you were a kid. You were never a good dancer. I'm like, yeah, but I grew into a great dancer at some stage, and I even made it as a lead dancer in a company, and actually a few different companies, because I was being, and I was like, I was really quite good, and if people weren't so negative against me, I could have made it even, but yeah, I could have, but my heart stopped when I was, it was either performing or practicing for a performance. Either way, my heart gave way because I was dancing over injury, like a heart injury. And then it's like, come on, give me the drugs. I want to dance. I want to continue dancing. And I was like, we don't have drugs. We don't have those sorts of drugs. So, unfortunately, so yeah. But I was kicked like a ball. It's like low opinion coming from the UK, coming from everyone around, and until there was no support for me. So I'm really low on the social scale. So, but I do remember I was there sometime, and I was like, it's pretty cool. Then I tried to be a choreographer, and and that was a big hit and miss. Because eventually when you made it as a dancer, you can then be a choreographer, and I was given this team, and then they were sort of half executed during the filming of a film clip, and they didn't feel like dancing after they were gone through their ups and downs for this film clip, and then I was alone. And I continued to try to say, yeah, I'm a choreographer, but it didn't work out. Low opinion, low rapport. I got smashed at the end and told, oh, you'll never be a choreographer again. But I came up with some pretty original things, and everyone was quite impressed by my hardest routine that I've ever made. It's probably one of my best routines I've ever made, but literally you can break a leg because it's so high, so fast, and so a strain on your joints and muscles, and you can break a leg just from doing it. But there was a way to do it safely, and I was trying to guide everyone. It's you can't lift your leg too low, you can't lift it too high. It's no one has any idea how great a strain it is to dance really well. And of course, I injured a couple of world famous dancers on the way, because I was actually dared to make the hardest routine that I could think of and have them do it. And then I was like, okay, I'll make one of the most difficult routines anyone's ever made. And so I did. And then to my credit, I actually did make a successful difficult dance, but to my discredit, people were actually, breaking bones and ruining their knee tendons to try and do it. It wasn't until you got people who were understanding my little rules and everything. And so I was virtually told by other people, professional people, that it was an insane dance because you have a good ability to be injured. But at the same time, it's sort of, if you do it right, you can get through it without injury. And so it was quite a difficult dance in some way, and obviously it sort of really tests you as a dancer, what you can and can't do. And I remember these things vaguely, not like I have any real memories, but I was like, yeah, everything's to my discredit there. It's like I haven't been credited, and everyone thinks, oh, you're so great, I really think good of you, so often like, oh, we hate you. Yes, you made a great dance, but we don't like you. So everything's been done to my discredit. Like whenever I pop my little head around, it's like discredit. So I just keep working things step by step, and that's all you can do. I mean, everyone's filled with ups and downs. More incredible people who are more impressive than you definitely had their faulty starts. And now they're like world famous whatever's and stabilized, and you're just like a person who just didn't get that. You're like going, well, all you can do is do a step by step once again. So that's all I do. So I'm trying to work on keeping better records, because I do miss the things that I've done, and I wish I had a better record. Like I didn't use Instagram at all, and I wish I could, in a way, to make you more impressive, but I didn't. So I didn't, unfortunately. But anyway,